Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just double check. Been a while.
It's been a while.
So welcome to episode 102 of the Beyond Pixels podcast. We've been gone for a few weeks because end of the year, every Thursday landed on a day that Christmas and then New Year's, so we didn't do a couple episodes. But today we have a special guest that was here on one of the very first episodes. I don't remember exactly which episode.
Episode 5.
Okay, episode 5. See, I didn't look for it because he would know.
This is why we have circuitry.
I looked it
He's
up.
an archivist.
Anyway,
I do.
So
I actually try and archive.
we've got Prismic here to talk specifically about his newest world, Cube.
Can I just say one thing real quick, Turtle? I think we talked about this in an earlier episode. We talked about creating worlds and stuff like that. I actually said that Cube would be a great world to make. As far as like the concept of like being in the middle of like 27,000 rooms in like a geometrical spectrum and trying to find your way out. It was just it's an absolute great idea. And I was shocked at the time that nobody made it. So I'm glad, that you made it finally.
I was listening in on the conversation. I was like,
oh, you heard what I said. You heard what I said, so that's where the idea came from. Okay.
The first question I have is, what inspired you to make the world? Why did you do it? Other than for the Halloween.
Spookality.
Yeah, spookality.
Yeah, I guess that part is, that goes back to a lot of my early online, not entirely community days. I'm not going to go way back here, but basically, long story short, I used to play a lot of Gary's Mod. I was part of a clan that ran a zombie survival server back, and this is like 2009 through maybe 2013, 14-ish. But if for anyone who's played Gary's Mod, it's similar in some concepts to VRChat. Very community-driven, different game modes and stuff that people make.
Heavily modded,
and in the same way that you get a lot of crossover for things like Roblox and VRChat, or Fortnite, modes and stuff, you get some of that from Gary's Mod too. And I've watched a lot of
hide and seek in Gary's Mod, so yeah.
Trouble in Terrorist Town, those were the days.
Yep.
Oh, Terrorist Town, yeah.
We had a lot of death runs as well come out in the past few spookalities. Prop hunts,
Yeah, prop hunt.
Yeah, exactly. So
The
one of the
rabbit hole
games
is
that
Dark RP. Sorry.
I played a lot of Dark RP too.
We all did.
But yeah, one of the maps that someone had made way back was Cube in Gary's Mod. And granted, it was a much simpler version because you're limited by the source engine. Effectively, if I remember right when I no-clipped, it's something like I want to say it's like a 4 by 6 by like 5 tall set of cubes. And if you go around one side, it just teleports you. So it gives the illusion of there being more. But very similar kind of thing. Like, and I had not seen the movie at the time, but that was my first experience with Cube. And so after playing that, I'd be like, oh, this is a really fun kind of game mode. I ended up watching the movie, and again, this is a decade ago, or more than that at this point. But when likewise I came to VRChat, it had always been in my mind of like, there's not really anything in here for that. So I was like, would that be, if I did it, I wouldn't want to do the Gary's Mod way. I would want to like do it the authentic, like the entire actual cube, if possible. And so, especially as I was trying to come up with ideas for this spookality, it had been in my backlog. It's like, well, the theme is kind of analog horror, which it loosely kind of fits, but
which
I was
technically Cube is a horror movie in and of itself. So I think it fits as far as spookality is concerned.
Yeah.
Is it like psychological?
It's suspense. It's
a suspense puzzle horror kind of.
Yeah, suspense puzzle horror. Yeah.
There's a little bit of mystery.
Well,
kind
not
of like
Saw.
It is kind of like Saw, but less personal in the sense of there's not a person tormenting you.
Right.
What's the movie name? Is it the 1997 Cube movie?
It's the Cube.
It's called Cube from the Cube from 1997. Which I guess I probably should explain it because I guess coming in cold, people may not know. So if you don't know for Cube, if you don't know Cube or if you haven't been to the world that I made, the premise is basically a whole group of people wake up originally individually in this kind of well, it's a cube room with hatches on each side, and each room has its own color, and they don't know what they're doing there. They have memories of being captured at some point, but every time you open a hatch through the sides or top and bottom is another room, and there's little serial numbers in between as well. Some of them stumble into each other, and they try and figure out why are they here, and they come to realize that some of these rooms are trapped. Like, traps would be things like you go into the room and flamethrowers activate, or a wire mesh goes down and slides across and slices them up, or freeze acid, all electric, all sorts of stuff can happen.
All sorts of different traps. It's very creative.
Exactly.
I love it.
And so all of them are kind of talking. There's some clues they get of oh, I worked on this kind of project, some government conspiracy thing. One person, there's a mathematician, and they're focused on the numbers, trying to figure out what the numbers mean, and maybe it can connect to getting their way out.
What are the numbers, Mason?
Yeah, it's like an advanced form of math that you have to know. It's almost algorithmic, but it's an algorithm that's based on a computer science that no human mind can actually comprehend.
Well,
it's incredibly difficult.
The movie portrays it that way, but actually it's one of the really neat things about the movie is it's based on real math, which was one of the things going into this project that made it actually possible. Was they use, for the most part, with one caveat I'll mention in a bit, real math for figuring out which rooms are trapped. And not just that, but the numbers also tell you where a room is within the arrangement of the cube. So, as a quick wrap up, I don't want to go recap the whole movie, but...
Well, and also no spoilers. If no one's ever seen the movie, I want to actually avoid spoilers. Encourage them to actually watch it.
Well,
I want
it might
them
be
to
hard
see
to do
the
if we're
movie for
talking about the world,
themselves.
though.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I won't spoil. I won't spoil the ending, but I'm just going to give away the
How
premise
about
stuff
this?
of
To anyone watching, this is your only warning.
okay.
the ending
Okay,
and the
spoiler
characters
alert.
would be the only thing that don't spoil that. Everything else,
Yeah.
the whole idea of that.
Pause right now. Go watch Cube, and then come back and hit play.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
All right,
so
3, 2, 1. Okay, disclaimer's out. They find out that the rooms are actually moving around, and they also come to figure out the girl there who does it figure out. It seems like all the rooms that are factors of primes as their number, or if it is a prime number, actually is what it is. Prime number rooms are trapped because there's 3 different numbers that are coordinates, and that turns out to be wrong, but there's also a savant in their group, and they realize it's actually primes and powers of primes, which are really hard to calculate, but they have this person there who can, and they're able to kind of solve. I won't spoil the rest, but that's the premise, and where it matters is because they actually consulted a real mathematician, and almost everything in there, except for, again, the one little caveat I'll get to, is real math. It means you can recreate that same system, and that's what the cube world in VRChat does. It's the exact same size. It's 26 by 26 by 26 cubes, which is about 17,580 something rooms, somewhere in that ballpark. And it has all the serial numbers unique for each room, and it tells you where in the cube it is. It tells you if it's trapped, and it actually also tells you the third thing, which is technically where it's going to move when it rotates, which is the caveat. The math they did in the movie doesn't actually map to any actual rotation stuff due to how they would have to phase through each other. So I had to come up with my own solution for that. But other than that, technically you could just look at the numbers and solve it if you could do the math.
Yeah, I've played the world a couple times. Spent probably 8 or 10 hours in there trying to beat it.
Oh,
I
damn.
have not beat it yet myself.
Oh man, I'll have to take you there sometime. It's a lot simpler than you might think.
I know the math, and I know shortcuts to get a good idea of whether the room is or isn't without having to actually sit there for 5 minutes doing the math for each room.
I know. I imagine you figured out how to use the boots.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
That
Wait a
was the
minute,
first
is this
thing, and then I
dead?
remembered that there was math with it.
there
Is this
was a character who actually threw his shoe in and actually triggered traps to see if the room was safe or not.
Yeah, he's an
This
exposition
reminds me of
character
that
who
game.
basically shows up. And yeah, he throws the
reminds
boot in,
me-
and that's the strategy is they use. They can trigger some of the traps with the boots, and some of them don't. And that's implemented in the game too.
Yeah, it just
reminds me of the,
it sucks on desktop because of the fact that it's just my VR is not working anymore, so I have to do desktop if I play the cube, and it just sucks having to
You gotta
click
drop
and
it and hit
hold.
the door. Yeah.
This reminds me of Half Dead 1, 2, and 3.
That's what I was thinking.
So
Were those the Fallout things?
No.
No, it's basically you like you just explained it. You throw the room into the shoe, and sometimes it'll set off the trap.
Throw
and
the
sometimes
room
it'll-
into the shoe.
Into
That's
the shoe.
exactly how it works. Yep.
so
Take the room.
Put
Put it in the
Master Chief in the shoe.
yes, Titan. It's in VRChat. It's a world made by Prismic. That's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
So the math and the programming of the math. I'm really interested in the programming and how difficult that part was.
Yeah, how long did all that take you?
I had technically started a prototype of the concept just to see if I could reasonably pull something off like this prior to even learning the spookалity theme. But it was not at all developed. It was really just a very basic, like, creating instances of the rooms kind of thing. It's like, okay, I think the math here
A
should work
blueprint,
out.
pretty much.
Yeah. Basically, just a very, very, like, not even, I would say, not even like a proof of concept at this point. It was really just testing one of the ideas I had to see if that would work. So I'd already, like, had that idea as a possibility for the future. Spookality theme came out with, this is perfect. So within the announcement time of Spookality and the theme and closing of submission, which is like 3 weeks, I had to do the entire world in that time. I had a lot of sleepless nights, and I took some days off work, to be honest.
Wow.
But yeah, I was able to obviously get it finished up in time.
Yeah. And you got what, 11th place?
They technically don't rank them after that. I kind of jokingly regard it as 11th because
Oh, okay.
after the 10 was that one, and it's consistently this. So I'm like, I guess I got 11th. They said they would give feedback on the jam results. Flair said they're still working on it, so I'm kind of curious why it didn't make it, but I've got some suspicions that it may have been due to some pretty major bugs that I had to fix and iron out. And it also could just be, honestly, like, obviously, there was some really good competition, and they tended to match the theme a little better than mine did.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so... Well, you already answered the second question I had. Just naturally, which is good. Means my questions are good.
We're on the right track here. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, we're already... That's great.
We're 12 minutes
So,
in, and we're already halfway
I
through
know-
the interview.
I know the last time I talked to you when you joined me while I was in there trying to beat the world, like a month or two ago now, you had said something about not all of the rooms and all of the traps being implemented yet.
Yes. So when I make my stuff for Spookality, as much as I'm doing it for Spookality, I really kind of do it more as it's a good idea motivator kind of thing for an idea. It's nice to win something, but I'm not doing it. I'm not going to compromise on my theme to try and cram an idea out for Spookality, if that makes sense. When I made this, it's because I already had the idea. It was something I wanted to make. Last time when I made Fiendish Frenzy was the same. I really made that because I wanted to make it for a friend anyways. And Spookality gave me an excuse. It's like, it's spooky theme. I'll change like the monster kind of things. I'll make them pumpkins and stuff, but I wasn't going to throw pumpkins into this world. It wouldn't have fit the theme, even if it would have made it spooky. So yeah, where I was leading with that is I crammed in a lot of time in those 3 weeks because it was a very ambitious project to try and knock out in the span of time that I had. And I'm happy with where it ended up, but it definitely wasn't all of the things I wanted. I had a lot more traps in mind. I still do. I had more different items and objects in mind. But after I finished it and submitted it, other than doing a few major bug fixes, I got kind of really burnt out. And end of the year's coming up. I had stuff going on with my job, stuff going on in real life, vacationing for holidays and stuff. I'm like, I'm probably going to take a break a bit from world stuff. I've not, outside of minor updates, worked on anything
Your
in
schedule is
VRChat.
packing up as it is.
There's water. Yeah.
Just a quick question for people who want to actually find this world. What is the name of the world so we can link?
It's Cube, Escape or Die. There's already other worlds called Cube, and Cube's a very generic name. So Cube, Escape or Die.
Yep.
Cube, Escape or Die. I was so Titan was looking, asking me in the chat.
If you just search cube, at least for me, it's
Yeah,
the
you
fourth
search-
one.
Yeah, it's the fifth one for me. Cube Escape or Die. It's made by Sam Squad. Is that the correct one?
No.
Not made by Sam
Is there-
Squad. That's the group that's playing in it right now.
Oh, yeah, 'cause they'll
oh.
have, yeah. I was like, did someone else make a Cube Escape or Die? Because it's made by me.
The
That's another way. If you
author-
just
Okay.
if you could find
Cube
Prismic's
Escape or
avatar
Die.
search and click the author, you'll see it's in my list of worlds as well.
Okay.
So,
All right. Titan's got it. We'll also put a link to that in the description of the video.
To totally finish answering your question, though,
Oh, yeah,
I
continue.
did want to finish with saying I've been on a break. I still have plans. I still want to add. I already have written them out. I know what they are. I've done some work on it that's just been sitting on the table. Once I'm back into like doing VRChat stuff again, I'm gonna finish the updating the world. I've not abandoned it. I've just needed a break.
Okay. Yeah, that
Just on the chair.
sounds great. So I know there's one feature that we had talked about the last time we had you on here, talking about your avatar world and that. One feature that VRChat added, the persistence.
Mm-hmm.
So how difficult or how much additional time do you think it was for you to implement persistence in Cube?
Not too much, really. I had to think for a moment because persistence doesn't play a huge role. It's really just there for stat tracking, like what traps you've discovered, what stats you have for how many wins, losses, what boots you've unlocked. It really wasn't too hard to port that stuff over in there by itself. But it did become a headache, and I had to learn some really niche knowledge kind of things about the persistence system that ended up, like I mentioned, actually right before like deadline, broke the world for a day, because apparently if you add a new persistence value, it comes back as null for people who've already been there before, and that creates a problem. And so I had to learn how to do proper for Udon null checking, basically. So, but it didn't take long to add the persistence, really.
I know how that is. This world has persistence in it now as well. That right from the start, I built it all to check, does the value exist? If not, set the default value.
Yep. I had to learn that from that situation, because for some reason, just I designed the avatar search and other places, and I just never actually had to add anything else.
I know. I was
had it
just
set up for that.
looking at your profile, and you have like almost 10,000 people in the avatar search just alone, and there's 23 people playing right now in the cube.
Oh wow, that's up. I haven't seen that many since.
23
months ago.
people playing the cube, and there's almost 10. It's 9.8k, almost 10,000. I guess we can round it up to 10,000 on your avatar world search. But yeah, that's like the current numbers that you have right now.
It's a funny correlation of like that situation too, though, because I don't remember exactly what I decided. I think it was like during the original like judging phase, I was apprehensive because I want to put a portal of my stuff in my avatar world because I'm proud of it, but I always feel a little bit guilty because I kind of have a shortcut to just anything I feature in my world immediately gets a bunch of attention. So if I remember right, I think I waited at least until the judging phase was over and they announced the winners, and then I put a portal there in for it because I didn't want to influence that. But yeah, it's sort of weird and surreal having like, oh, there's 10,000 people in here. If I put up a portal, people are at least a percentage of people are going to accidentally run into it. And I encountered that during Fiendish Frenzy back before the hitboxes were fixed. There was I found it. There was a bunch of people just showing up randomly in the public instance of the world as trains. Like literally a train would just join. And I found out the reason was because it was during that week I had the portal in the main room of the avatar search. They would hit random avatar, turn into a train, the hitbox would hit the portal, and they would be banished to the game world. Like, oh, I need to be careful.
Fucking good, dude.
It's incredible.
It happened a lot.
The world is Quest compatible too, so
It
you
is.
can play it on mobile.
Can you play
is
it on
Quest
mobile? Yeah.
It is Quest and iOS compatible.
Yeah, wasn't that one of
uh,
the requirements
yes.
of the?
It
Yeah, I'm
was a
pretty sure-
contentious requirement.
So if
Yeah,
somebody is playing VRChat on Android, they can go to the cube.
I have solved it on a phone. I will say it is not easy, but it is doable.
It's okay. All right.
So
Yeah.
what's the fastest solve time you have seen personally?
Oh, I want to know
if-
this.
If we exclude cheating, I have seen some in under a minute. I think I've seen one that was 20 or 30 seconds, but those are
They
very
must have
hard
just
to
got
pull off.
lucky with their placement.
Lucky, but there is a way you can effectively hedge your bets with that. And I might explain kind of a hint basically in a bit. Think of it
Listen
kind of like a
carefully for
random,
tips
like a
from the
random
game
seed
master
speed
himself.
run.
Yeah, so
Think of it
I
like
know
Wicked again.
the movie at least had a specifically numbered room that was out of bounds, right? And that
Yes.
was the exit room.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true in that world?
Yes, it's a little different
Is-
from the movie.
Okay,
Okay.
so the ending of the movie has nothing to do with the ending of the game.
I won't say it has nothing to do with it. It's the same concept. You're effectively trying to find a certain cube on the exterior that can be navigated to with the numbers, sort of. But unlike the movie, where it was always going to be on a particular side, because the movie only had to escape once, if I did
Yeah.
that here, everyone would immediately know, oh, I need to go this direction. And I wanted to be a little trickier than that. So every time you generate a new cube, it randomly picks a side, one of the four, and it will place the exit cube on one of those sides. So the strategy really is just the first few runs you do of it, go find all the sides until you see it. Then you know for the rest of that game, it's always going to be there on that side. So then it's just about going that direction and finding it, you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I have yet to even see the exit room in there. I spent an hour just trying to get to the side and got unlucky with the rotation.
And you spent
that-
8 to 10 hours playing it, so
Yeah, that just the one run. Every time I would just go in the direction that the doors open to on the floor, so that I know I'm always going in the same direction every time I go in, and literally just an hour's worth of going straight, but zigzagging back and forth and around traps, and I never reached the wall.
That's either really unlucky or you must have been going really slow and then got shifted when it rotated and had to run all the way back
probably
across.
that's what I think
Yeah.
happened. First off, I mean, I don't know if you can say this or not. You can say no. I'm not going to answer this question, but how often do the cubes shift?
So
your map?
every 3 minutes you'll hear the alarm and it goes on for about 10 seconds. It seals and then they do a shift. The shifts
Okay.
are actually predictable. You can actually know based on what room you're in.
Okay, so
Where
they're
it's
not
going to
random.
move you.
So the shifts aren't random.
Nope,
They
it
shift
is not a random
specific
shuffle.
in a specific.
It is
Okay.
always the same pattern.
I would love to know exactly how you actually came up with that pattern of shifting, like specifically, and more importantly, how you programmed it into a cube that size. That is
And-
incredible. Like that's a level of mathematics I cannot
And-
even touch. But real quick,
How-
I do have one question from the chat. Are the traps movie copies, or did you create new
Some.
ones?
Most of them are inspirations from either Cube, Zero, Hypercube, which is Cube 2, or the remake of Cube. Most of them are from those. Some of them are from the Gary's Mod one, and then some of them were personal ideas that I had.
Yeah. So I have one more really big question that I was trying to ask a second ago.
Sorry.
Crap. Now I forgot it.
Think turtle.
Damn it.
It was
Programming?
about shifting of
Oh
cubes.
yeah. How do the rooms actually shift, and how do the players move with the rooms when they shift?
Yeah, I would love to talk about that because that's the part I'm actually the most proud of with the idea. The whole
'Cause
idea
I-
hinged on the idea of I could make a scaled down version, but if possible, I want to make an authentic cube
'cause-
experience.
I know VRChat's working on a new player controller, or they've been saying they're working on a new player controller at least.
They
That's
kicked it
supposed
back
to.
on hiatus. It's not
Yeah.
prioritized, and I'm really sad about that.
Yeah, because that would have made it so much easier to just move the physical room directly, and then all the players would just move with it physically.
It would have made a lot of things easier because it also would have meant I didn't have to use really hacky stuff to make those ladders on the hatches work. That was the bane of my existence for a while, was making it not shunt you off. But yeah,
talk about both of those.
Yeah. Okay. So the only way that idea was going to work for me was I wanted to be able to do the full size of the cube, which is again 26 across by 26 across by 26 vertical rooms. And if you take 26 cubed, that's going to be again 17,586 rooms or something in that range. I don't remember if I have it exact, but that's a lot of rooms. That is a lot of things for every client, especially on mobile, to have to keep track of. Maybe not necessarily render, but every one of those cubes has to have like logic running for it. If it's got traps, like that's a lot of entities. So the first step was, how do I fake there being that many rooms at once for everybody? Because, I could maybe say like, oh yeah, just render just your room and, maybe the adjacent ones, but then that's tricky if there's other people in other rooms and they intersect with yours. So the way that it works is for every room that somebody is in, and anytime you go and open a hatch, there is a room existing in those places. But all of the other rooms are actually non-existent. They're not even created. They are created spontaneously on the fly. That leads to another problem, though. The other problem becomes VRChat's networking. Supposing I can even do this system and I'm creating these rooms on the fly, how do I create network code between someone's room spawned on here and someone's room spawned on your local client? Because VRChat doesn't let you do that. You have to have object pools. You have to basically know all of your objects in advance and pre-allocate them so when you spawn it, it spawns for everybody. You can't feasibly have 17,000 networked objects of this size.
I actually have the actual number, Priz, if you want.
Have
17,576 rooms exactly.
Yep.
So I know how I would do it if I was doing that. I would create a random number seed and use that to determine what room is what and what's where. And I'm assuming that's exactly what you did.
Spot on. The only values that actually have to be networked, like persistently networked, is the timer and the random seed. So whenever you create it, it creates a new random seed and it resets the global timer so everyone's in sync, and it syncs those values. And it uses that value to deterministically, if it says someone opened this door, it knows to create a cube in that space that is the same color for everybody, that is the same trap, in the same orientation, that has like the same states for the hatches. Like that part's technically networked like live, but it's not like persistently synced. But all the stuff that you need to know potentially about the state of the cube is all pre-calculated on everyone's machine based on, like you said, the deterministic random. So that made that possible. It's like, okay, I can pull this off if I can do that. Next up is, how do I get them to communicate for the hatches? If I open up a hatch on this side, I have to communicate not only with the hatch on the other side to open at the same time, but I also need to communicate to everybody else. So I wrote a manager system that basically takes in IDs, it takes in a direction, says this direction was accessed, it does math to get, not only that, but if I open up a hatch here, it not only has to know which room is here, it has to know which room is here at which point in time, because they move. So now it's moved, it's a different room here. You actually have to take all of the math that rotates the rooms and apply that logic to how the rooms talk to each other, so that it knows, hey, at this point in time, if I hit this hatch, it's talking to this room at this coordinate that's right next to it right now. So without going deeper into the insanity, it was a lot of math.
I'm guessing there's a good few thousand lines of code just for the math equations having to happen.
Not quite that many just for the math. You can
Okay.
use some simple algorithms basically to pull it off, and then basically I did a lookup function that will convert global ID to relative ID based on what state it's in, like what rotation. And that just does the math for me. I just reference that function anytime I do a lookup. So that helps a lot for that. But yeah, no, like you were kind of saying for that before, like the rotations too, It's actually a lot simpler than you would think. The way the rotations work in this game is initially every other room in kind of a checkerboard pattern will start by going, I believe it's forward or back. So if you imagine like from the side here, you've got all these rooms in a checkerboard. Imagine like a literal like chess. Imagine like the black ones will go forward and the white ones will go back. So when you do that and you wrap them around the edges, there's no conflicts. They can all slide past each other. The next rotation from there is left-right. So they'll all pass each other left-right, alternating, and then up-down. Then we apply all those rotations, but in reverse. So then we go, black would go back, white would go forward. We do left-right and down-up. And by doing that rotation, they all rotate around each other in predictable ways, but will always end up back at the same place every 6th rotation. So that helps it be consistent. And if you know that fact, you can now go, okay, if I know what time is left, I know what rotation it's on, I can look at the number of this room and know where it's rotated to, and I know where it's going to go next. I don't expect people.
So that's the true trick.
Sort of.
That's a good trick.
The movie uses a different math thing that has to do with basically cyclical subtraction. Each number in the thing, you subtract like the next value and it'll tell you its relative rotation. But again, the math there doesn't check out as far as I can tell. It leads to overlaps and it leads to collisions. So I chose this because it was something, and in the movie it's, I believe, 9 rotations. Here there's only 6.
Got it.
So.
But you're also in a time limit in the world of, I think it's an hour, right?
Yeah, I made
Instead
it an hour
of the
because...
movie being, they're in there for like days.
Yeah, I made it an hour because I didn't want people to find good seeds and just farm them and get bored. I wanted it to be a challenge of like, you've got an hour to have a strategy. And that strategy, if you're really good at it, is find the side that has the exit, then just try and keep going in and find a good path to that exit and try and do it fast enough. And you only get so many respawns. And that itself was actually a design decision that was unique kind of to VRChat. In the Gary's Mod 1, if you died, you just respawned in the cube. But I didn't want people to, one, be so isolated from each other all the time, and also I wanted there to be a consequence to death, because otherwise there'd be people would just keep dying over and over until they got where they wanted. So by having that consequence, making it 3 minutes, it's not super long, it gives you some time to kind of go out, maybe watch other people in the observation room, go look at the new trap information, and then go in with a group and try again.
Yeah, I really like that. That definitely a good design choice on that.
Thank you.
What else?
Yeah, I could nerd out for a long time about the math. Again, it's the part I'm most proud of, but I don't want to keep going into it because it's honestly really boring, nerdy stuff.
It's really interesting to me, at least. I mean, I like the tech stuff. I like the programming side of things. That's really what I wanted to pick your brain about.
Trust
myself.
me, he's absolutely, he's got a boner for this stuff.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I've got somewhat of a different question, but related to this. Like, for those of you who've played it, and it could also be people in chat as well, like, what is your guys' like most hated trap that you've encountered?
Water.
The water.
Because it is impossible to escape once it triggers. Oh, wait, no. Let me backtrack that statement. The music room.
Okay, so for me, it was none of the... Oh, go ahead.
I was
Turtle.
with someone in there, and 3 rooms in a freaking row damn near. Every time we turned, it was a music room. It's like, no.
How bad is the music room?
Sit there for 3 minutes or however long it plays for. Like,
It's funny because it's the least deadly room, but it's like the most annoying.
most
you can't
time-consuming?
do anything while you're in it. It's just
It's
and the
50
song
seconds.
is
It's 50 seconds of it locks the room and it plays elevator music, and you just have to sit there.
I'll take a nap.
The diabolical
nap.
thing is the diabolical thing about that room in particular. I designed it to be as annoying as possible. It's only ever actually triggered. You can't trigger with a boot. It's only ever triggered if 2 people are in the room at the same time. So you can avoid it if you one at a time go through a room. But anytime you have 2 people in the same room, that's what triggers it.
Are you serious?
I do have a question because I didn't...
Oh my god.
So I didn't get to that part of the map.
trapped in a in a room with 2 people at a time,
or more,
just
just more
stuck
quickly.
there. Yeah, at
Yep.
least 2 people. So it's just a 50-second. Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
We're setting the mood.
I think I know what Titan is talking about. He says his most feared trap is the Blade Storm from the movie, or what you call the Massive Blades. I think he's talking about the sound room where if you make any noise at all, then immediately needles come out of the walls.
Well, or it could be the sound damage room. One of the frustrations with Udon in trying to do this is some of the traps, I guess we didn't go into that. The traps are triggered by different things, and that's really important to the design. Some traps in the movie are triggered by touching the floors, some are by sound, some are just by being in the room, some are from heat. And so, like motion. So the boot trick is meant to work on some of the traps, but say if it's like a heat sensitive or something like that, it won't trigger it. And that's part of the design is you kind of have to learn like, okay, this rules out it could be one of these traps, but it could still be some of these. And I wanted to design for that, but it's really difficult because in Udon, we do not have access to any way to detect sound.
Okay, so for the player, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. Yeah, I like that.
Well, it is, and I still designed other ways. Like I mentioned, that one's detected by 2 people in a room. Some of them are time delay, like you go in a room or throw a boot in, there'll be a time delay. Some of them aren't detected at all, it's just always on, like the gas or the sound room. As soon as you go in, it just starts emitting, but typically there's a balance. The more detectable a trap is, like by a boot, usually the deadlier it is. The less detectable, the nicer it is. It's not going to punish you for, like, there was no way to know.
Like the gas room and the sound damage room, you can jump in and jump out and be fine.
Yeah, and there's some strategies even for some of the more deadly rooms, like the spike trap that shoots up from the ground. That was the first one I made. The trade-off there is it tempts you to say, okay, I can jump onto the center platform and I'll be safe. So that's a good gamble if, let's say, you don't boot. But there's a trade-off. What if this is an ignition room? Now I'm dead center in the room and it's going to light me on fire. And you have to get out real quick because that one will kill you quick too.
You have to really, really focus up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other trap ideas do you have for it?
The last one I added was a last-minute addition. Wasn't in the original set, but it was in my plan, was the electrified floor. So I mostly held off on those because I'm not great at particles. So electric effect, I could kind of make... Originally, I was going to make it like electric lines, and I'm not great at that. I tried with trails, so I just did sparks. I'm like, this looks good. The laser traps are another set that I want to make. They would be 3 different types of laser traps. One would be like a spinning kind of blades of lasers. Another would be lasers that like cross across the room, like in a pattern.
Almost like Resident Evil style?
Yeah.
Like in that one scene from the movie?
Not like the scene you're thinking where they all come at you. This would be almost more like a laser, like lines that intersect and they kind of diagonally go slowly, almost like the DVD logo bouncing around. They'd be kind of like that,
okay.
Where you could jump over them. Yeah,
that would be really.
And then another one would just be a static set of lasers that just shoot like across the room in a bunch of zaps. So there would be laser rooms, saw blade trap. I had some ideas for one that would like drop some like grenades in or have some turrets that shoot from the corner. Those are actually inspired by the Gary's mod one. They're a little harder to do with the turret one because of how things sync up. Again, I have to kind of fake synchronization. But yeah, so I've still got a lot of ideas.
The less you have to synchronize, the better the world ends up working.
Yep, and I have ideas for the other secret rooms as well.
Oh,
I managed to find any of those.
No spoilers here.
I can't remember which one I found, but I found one of them. And
was it colorful or was it?
I'll tell you this part. 3 of the same number for one of the coordinates.
Okay, then you found Rio's secret room. All of the secret rooms are inspired or tributes to my friends. That one's actually inspired by Fiendish Frenzy, the Spookality one I made last year, which I made for that friend. So that's why that room's there. The other one's for my brother, and then I have ones planned for other ones of my friends. I know what they're going to be, but again, hiatus. I just haven't put them in yet.
I'm loving all this info. This is really cool stuff. I love
absorbing knowledge.
The worlds you make. They are always very interesting with the programming?
I kind of
Like,
have to
that's-
hedge my bets on that. I'm not an artist. If you look at all my it was actually a joke when I made this one because I've always joked like I really just make ugly cubes, and so it's like I might as well make an ugly cube.
Ugly cubes.
Yeah,
But it
Again, I'm
works.
it does. I'm not proud of it, but like a lot of the textures and like where it's that kind of like pixelated design and stuff like that too, is because I suck at texturing. And if I just make things look really ugly, it looks intentional. Like Fiendish Frenzy. Oh, I can just make it look really low res. Like it's technically the style of the game it's based on, Devil Daggers. But I really do that also because I'm bad at artistic. So I'm bad at making things look good. But I like programming. I love programming. I spent my life for like 25 years just programming. So I hedge my bets on trying to make really interesting programming concepts.
Yeah, I have I myself have a really crazy idea for a world that's going to require a ton of crazy programming, but also requires someone that knows how to 3D model and make things look good. So that's scrapped for now until I
was
find
so
someone for
I was
that.
so proud of myself. I 3D modeled those cubes. I had to make like the shell basically, and I did that in Blender. I was so proud of myself. I set up like the UV maps. I'm like, oh my god, it works! It's the first time I've ever done that. Was for that one.
It looks fantastic. The only argument I had, at least when I played it, was there was no markings at all on the walls or anything. At least from my perspective, I didn't see any
What do you mean by
markings or
markings on the
numbers.
walls?
There was
Oh,
no
so
mark. Like there
in
was
the
no
hatches.
indication of what.
If you open the hatch and you look between the rooms, the numbers are all there as you go between the rooms. It tells you the room that you're in, the room on the other side.
Yeah, but I was gonna say I was
Question.
thinking about in the movie, like you look above the door and they're above the hatch.
No, it's only when they because you see when they go check the numbers, they open the hatch and they crawl in to look. The numbers are actually
Yep.
in the same places in my game as they are in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
they're
Okay,
inside
all right.
hatches.
I mean, it's
So,
been years since I've seen the
now-
Yeah,
movie.
let's
so.
go watch again.
In the movie though, they like scratch things into the walls and like write and
Yep.
do math physically. So have you thought of allowing like a pen or something that you can mark things and scratch rooms off?
I took a different approach. The problem with the pen idea, because I thought about that, is because of the rotations, it would be hard to transmit that stuff. That would be a whole new system that would have to move all of those pen markings around, and it would persist through each round as people go in, and I didn't want that. What I chose to do instead is, I as much as there's that complex math, and I'm really proud of it being accurate, I don't reasonably expect people are going to want to solve it that way. I wouldn't want to do that. That's not a whole lot of fun. I just wanted to be true for the like really faithful. What I did instead is, I don't know if you noticed, but alongside the boots, there are some special items that you can purchase. You get points basically. It's a variable amount based on how many rooms you visit, as well as how long you've survived. So like the longer you're alive and the more rooms you visit, the more points you get, even if you die. And if you win, you also get a lot. The idea is eventually you build up enough, and they're not that expensive except for the really good items, but you can buy a compass. The compass, really useful. Makes it easy to tell which direction you're facing. The decoder lets you know what the original room coordinates are of the room that you're in. Like it decodes the 26 by 26 by 26 number. So you can say, oh, I am in, 135, or not 30, 118, 18. I must be right on the left side because the X coordinate's 1. If I go 1 over here, then I know that I'll be out. Granted, it gets the original room, so if it's shifted, that won't tell you that. And that's what the sequencer is for. The sequencer tells how out of phase you are and the room you're in, where it's going to move next. If it's going to be an up or a down or a left or a right. And then lastly, there's the pinger. And that is kind of one that's really meant more for like, I have no idea what's going on, but I want to get an idea if I'm getting closer or farther from the exit. It pings with the number of rooms and then tells you how many rooms away you are from the exit. So if you do that, and then you go one room over and it's one less, you know you're going in the right direction.
Yeah, that's the only one I've used personally. Because the rest of them, I can look at the number and figure that out. Like the coordinates, I don't need that. The compass, I don't need that.
Right. Well, and you figure out the compass thing, right? With the hatches, like, technically are always facing the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So don't need a compass
all the
for
items
that.
are there until you figure out the shortcuts by either the numbers or like, oh, all the hatches always have the light part facing north. Good
But
clue.
because the exit room is on a random side, the pinger is almost always useful.
Pinger is almost always useful, yeah. It does have that delay in using it where you have to wait for it to count if you're really far away, so that slows you down. But again, once you figure it out and you win, as long as that one's still running, you can go back in and know, I know what side it's on. I can just bolt over there and try and get a better time.
Oh, wait, so the time is based on when you spawn in, not
Yes,
the hour countdown?
correct.
Oh,
your time is based off of when you go in that round and make it to the exit. That's your escape time.
Yeah. I for some reason thought it was based on the hour countdown. If you start it and you're in there for 40 minutes.
No, because I want it to be versatile for anyone who just joins in at any point.
Okay.
Like, this is how fast you can traverse and enter the cube and exit the cube. That's all
It would be interesting to also do a second track a second statistic there for how fast or how far down the counter is at the time they exit.
It would be interesting for that. I feel like if that's something people are really into, that's something they can track themselves, because it would be its own category of like, you know, overall run, like start to finish, instead of like a redo run if it was like a speed run thing.
Yeah. The only other like idea I would have is like allowing for a little bit of customization. I know it would make it a little more complicated, but if it was just customization, let's say allowing more than an hour on the timer, but you know, then I guess people could just increase that. And
the original runs I did not only let you change the amount of time you had to escape, it also lets you choose how long each round was, as well as how big the cube was. I had technically the code lets me scale that cube down to be basically as low as a 4x4x4, and then all the way up to the 26x26x26. But I went away from that because I decided that led to a very diverged experience. If you join a lobby, you don't know what room they're playing in that lobby and like how it's going to be. And I wanted to be consistent for everybody to just join and be able to immediately know. There's no weirdness of like how I have to shift things differently or how the numbers might vary for the tools. I wanted to be consistent because otherwise, I had considered that.
Yeah, I think that would, now that the world's been out for what, 3 months about? 2 or 3 months?
End of October-ish, November, December, basically.
So since it's been out that long, like, I could see changing it now and allowing for that to make it different and new again. Or at some point in the future doing that and allowing the changing of it, but not counting it for the statistic tracking of how fast you got out, sort of thing.
If I were to do it, I would probably make it either a separate world or I would use. I've been trying to figure out what that if you're in the lobby, the observation came technically after the initial release. I finally added that later. That was always planned to be there. I just, MVP had to get the minimum viable product out. Originally, the right side room was going to be the shop, but I ended up just having that be a UI, so I haven't fully decided, but I've toyed with the idea of having the right side room be a practice or like alternate game mode version of it, where it would technically be another cube somewhere else in the map that you could run separately from the main one. But I'm not sold on that yet. It would be a lot of complexity. I kind of really do want to just expand on like more traps, more items, build out more interest in the main objective.
Yeah.
And then maybe add some special modes for something.
Even if there was like some like thinking on it, because the time I've spent in the world, just making or trying to spend a bunch of time in the cube to earn the points that I can buy the pinger to make my run simpler and easier, so I don't have to figure out where the exit is. And it takes a long time to get enough points to buy that.
There's a reason for that. I
know,
want it to be
it's such
easy
a
to
good
get. I
item.
want you to go run through there a bunch first and try and learn it, and then like, okay, I haven't found the exit. I'm gonna get a cheat thing to help me get there.
Okay, so I have some numbers for you. I can throw at you right now. To date, you have 293,809 visits, 15,841 favorites. It was published on October 14th of 2025, last updated October 27th, 2025. There's currently 7 publics, 19 privates. Recommended capacity is 16.
Yep.
Ooh,
That sounds
But
about
almost 300,000 visits in just the span of time. How do you feel about that?
right. When I last checked, it was pretty on par with some of the other winners, so I was pretty happy with it. But again, I'm able to kind of cheat by putting in a really popular world. I was proud of it once I took it out of there again to see that it was as popular, like still, that people really seem to love it. I still see people put up videos of running it and talk. I think the biggest surprise, I know you got something I just want to add. The biggest surprise to me, honestly, was going in and listening to people. I figured this was going to be really niche. I'm like, ain't nobody seen this movie from 97. What's the average age of a VRChat player? What are the odds they've seen this? And I was shocked to find tons of people kind of like you being like, man, I've been waiting for this kind of world to be in VRChat. And that made me really happy to be like, oh, this isn't as niche as I thought it was going to be.
Just call me old.
Same here. And last aside, while I was working on this, someone else actually released a cube map in VRChat that is much better looking, much higher detail, but it doesn't. It's not a game. It's more just an experience where like there's some death traps, but like there's maybe I think 4 or 5 traps, and the mechanics of it were like there wasn't a way to escape. So at the same time, it's like, well, it's a bummer someone beat me to it, kind of, but I think mine's going to be unique enough. And from what you said, the numbers, it seemed like it did really well, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm really happy people enjoyed it.
293,000, yeah, almost 294,000.
So there's one more design choice that I want to ask you about. I know if you have like 8 people in the world that all try to start together, 4 of them get put in one box, 4 of them in another, right?
Yes.
So why did you go with 4 per cube and random positions for them?
Yeah. So the positions you spawn in aren't entirely random. Whenever you generate a cube, there's actually, if I remember right, there are 8 possible positions that are pre-selected as known safe spawns. It will basically iterate and look within a certain range. Like, it avoids a starting cube being right on the edge. It tries and puts it like roughly in the upper, I want to say the upper third, so you're less likely to be below the line, because it's hard to go up, as you know. But it puts you within at least, I think, like at least 4 cubes away from any side. It tries. So it will try and find 8 rooms, and it's deterministic, so everyone has the same 8 rooms. And those rooms will always be, for that run, the only rooms that you can spawn in. And I chose 8 because 4 times 8, that's like 32. That's, I believe, the max cap of the world. So 32 people can always have a place to spawn. So that was the reason why I kind of built it around 4. Was, on one hand, I don't want everyone spawning in the same cube. It's just too chaotic and too problematic trying to get everyone like all going the same direction. A whole bunch of people die. It's less fun that way. Part of the original movie thing is like they all kind of find each other. So you can hear each other. You can like, it's kind of part of the fun is finding each other again. I went with 4 because it felt like a good number that let me have not too many starting rooms. Like I said, 4 times 8 is the 32 if it's at the max. I didn't like the choice because it's random where it puts you, and so sometimes you get split up with friends. And for that reason, I have actually, it's on my consideration list, possibly increasing the number per room to 8. So you'd have the cardinal directions and the corners could each spawn a person. But there's technically a debuff from that. You still only are going to get the 1 freebie medkit. Versus right now, there's 1 medkit per group of 4.
Yeah. So that would be something to
I don't know why I moved.
consider when also considering increasing it. You could give an option for a slider for the master to set how many people get put into it. I think that would make it more fun in some instances. Like if you have 4 friends and you want to challenge each other who can get out first, set it to 1.
That's yeah. I like that idea actually. That's not too bad because that doesn't really affect the overall gameplay. It's just the personal experience of the people you're going with. You can play a few different ways. So yeah, I don't think I could go down to one, or maybe I would have to limit it based on how many people are in your current lobby. Because again, if you go down to one, I would have to pre-reserve 32 different rooms or starting rooms, and I can't do that.
So with that also, does it check if people are already in the room before it spawns you in that room?
No.
So you could theoretically get the random selection, have four people go in, 3 minutes later have four more go in, and randomly get the same room selected, theoretically.
Right. There is a cleanup process where whenever it does the shuffle, like I mentioned, when you open a room and stuff, it generates all of these rooms, and as you go, it does unload them. Like, it will stop displaying them for rendering, but they are still physically there. It's just not display. It's set inactive. Until when the cubes do their shuffle, it does basically a recursive check. For all the adjacent rooms, it checks all the rooms that have people in it, and it deletes all the other rooms. Just outright on everyone's client, deletes every other room, and then does the move, and then when it unlocks, you open, it spawns a new room. That helps do some garbage collection both for items and for the rooms. So if you are in a room that is a starting room and you never leave and another round starts, you will possibly get put into the same room with people.
Interesting. One other technical question before we wrap things up here. Like, I know you talked about how the shuffling works, but when there's like two groups of people or two different rooms that have people in it and the shuffling happens, I know I can like kind of look through the floor and you sometimes see their nameplate pop up.
Yeah.
For a second. But how does it actually move them? Does it just like, how does it actually move them? Because I know
it's
it
a lot
also
simpler than you might think.
it also when the room you're in is moved, sometimes everyone else disappears for half a second and then pops back up.
So what do you think is going on when that happens?
So I'm assuming the room is physically not moving. That I know. So what I'm assuming is at the end of the shift cycle, it's just teleporting everyone from that room into the new location of that room.
You're half right.
And then deleting
your
old.
initial assumption there was wrong. The actual rooms do move. Like it's teleporting that room to the new location. It's also teleporting you in the same frame to that location. So because all the rooms are owned by each client and they're deterministic, I can time it exactly. So when you teleport, the room teleports. But because of network delay, everyone else, even though they're on the same timer, it's going to be delayed for when they teleport. So that's why you'll sometimes see items that they own, or you'll see them themselves delayed on the teleport, is because that's just network latency with Udon. You can't get around that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so no, it physically is moving, teleporting the room you're in. It's not deleting that one and creating a new one. The room itself does get moved each time a room gets moved if it's not deleted.
Okay. That is definitely different than I would have expected.
Yep. I keep absolute positions track of all of the rooms in a big array, the exact length of the number of rooms there are. So every time a room is created, it's always in the correct index for its true location. And I just use translation of like its relative coordinates of where it is in its rotation. And then it's just moved to those positions. And I can do a function to look up what cube is at that location. It does the math and gives me the index position from that array. So I can move the rooms around with that issue.
That is really cool. There anything else you want to say about the world before we go ahead and wrap up for the day? Or any other questions anyone has?
I just want to point out that Sobi has not said a damn word during this entire podcast. So,
I know
Sobi,
Sobi was
have
playing
a
that
question,
world yesterday, I believe. Weren't you?
If you have a question,
Nope. There we go. His first flow to the screen.
I know
you're
this.
just here as a.
I will say,
Go ahead.
it would be cool if you made a secret room that resembled a companion cube from Portal.
Oh, that would be
that would be
hilarious.
cool.
You mean like the boot you can get, which is a companion cube from Portal? It's a supporter perk. But one of the boot types you can get for being a supporter is you can throw it too. It goes like ow. It makes like the little turret noise when you throw it.
But if there was actually a room that was portal themed, that was special based on the coordinate numbers or the serial number of it, that would be cool.
It would be. I've already got all the secret rooms I have planned out. I know what they're all going to be. I just haven't written them yet. Unfortunately, there's no planned portal one, but I did have the idea of that at one point. These are all like themed for my friends. So like.
So are you planning on just continuing to update the map that you uploaded, or are you going to plan a new map?
I'm planning on just updating the one I uploaded. I want to get to feature fully complete of. I want to add the additional boots for like the different unlocks you can get. I want to add the additional special items, including one that would be basically like emergency teleporter, like a one-time use. I'm stuck in a water trap. You can teleport to a random room somewhere is an item I've had planned. I just haven't done yet. I want to do the rest of the traps, and I want to figure out what to do with that right room and then do some polish stuff. A big thing I need to add is I need to actually make it clear that you lose. A lot of people think, oh, you escaped the cube, and they go straight down, they fall out. Hey, I escaped. I need text to say, you explicitly did not win. You lost. There is a win condition, and I want to put pictures on the explainer thing to make it more clear what you're looking for. Because that's the biggest thing I've seen from people is they don't know what they're doing. They don't realize there's a way to get out because they don't know what it looks like. It tells you, but no one reads in VRChat, so.
And also, nobody watches movies back from the 1990s.
That too.
Oh, I had another question, but I'd lost it now.
Oh well.
Damn, that keeps happening. Yeah, no,
Evolved cubes.
Everything.
I love the world. Glad you were able to make the time to come talk about it and talk about the technical side. I love hearing about that stuff and the crazy things and the crazy programming that people have managed to do with VRChat with the limitations of Udon. Because I mean, if you were to make that in just pure Unity, it would shift from being complicated with the Udon side to instead be complicated with other things, but also a lot simpler at the same time.
It would be a lot more straightforward for a lot of reasons. Probably the hardest part would just be implementing a multiplayer for it. But if just making the cube on its own in Unity would be relatively straightforward, in VRChat makes it harder. And then, like you said, like frankly, I really appreciate you inviting me on. Like, I tend to get a lot of attention, like I'm a celebrity, which always makes me feel very awkward. I'm much more happy and joyous talking about like people interested in the things I made. Like, oh, how'd you do that? It's like, I'm so glad you noticed that because I like talking about that and not like, oh, I recognize you're a famous name. It's like,
makes my
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure
want
the
to
next
talk about
crazy world you make, I will most likely again ask you if you want to come on for another episode whenever that happens.
I would love that. Thank you.
I do have an idea for a world for you, but I'm going to save that for after the podcast. But I do want to say, I mean, I've played the world, one time, and that was all I could afford because I have to be, I'm an early bird, so I have to wake up early. But when I played it, it was absolutely, it felt like the movie. You did a fantastic job on that world.
That is the best compliment I can get. I really appreciate that. That's what I was going for.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say now.
Quickly now, Turtle.
The craziest death I experienced in the world myself was a water room, threw the boot in, door closes, rooms shift. All in that order at like that fast. I died in between them.
Crushed you in between.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would love for there to be an achievement for accidentally getting crushed between the rooms.
I could add one for that.
And get like a broken item of some sort. That would be so funny to me.
What if I told you, by the way, it's possible to survive the water room
without using a med pack?
No, with using a med pack.
Hey, we're not going to provide spoilers on stream, okay? Not in this video.
No, one of my friends actually jumped into the water room with the med pack, and they were like, "Crap, I'm using it."
That was an intentional design choice. I designed the amount of health it drains and the amount of time around the med kit being a but everything typically has some type of like means to survive it.
Yeah.
Except for the elevator room. You're screwed.
I just imagine you in a room where you have a whiteboard next to you and you're just writing all this down on the whiteboard and you're just like planning all this shit out.
No, it's most likely all typed out in a notepad.
I was not saying close. It's literally just a text document in Notepad++ where I just type out all my notes and ideas and stuff and shuffle them around and like balance them that way.
Yeah, but you still use pen and paper, right?
No.
No programmer uses pen and paper for anything anymore.
I would sooner open up GIMP and sketch something in GIMP than I would write it on pen and paper.
Yep. Well,
I
anyway,
thought there were some old school people.
Thank you for being here. I'd like to talk to you a little after the podcast here for a bit about something that I was working on, get your input on that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, do the thing we do at the end of every episode. Thank you all for being here for episode 102. Don't know what we're talking about next week. We'll figure that out at some point.
Turtle, can you stretch this out because we have an ad for another 45 seconds?
Yeah, I know. Don't know what we're talking about next week. We're going to figure that out. If anyone has any ideas, go ahead and say them now, I guess.
I know what we should do. What about candles?
Yes.
Quandles.
Quandles.
Have you
Quandles,
had Crazium on before?
Who?
Crazium. He's the one who made the what is it? Spectre, basically the winner from this year, I believe.
I have not. Really? I would love to have more more world creators on.
Yeah, he's a world and avatar creator. He created on the New Year's event that plaza that you go up like on the building. He actually was the one who modeled that building up there. He'd be a great person to reach out. I love talking to him. He's great.
Remind me of that, and I will reach out to them and see if they would be interested. Thank you. Anyway, so thank you all for being here for episode 102. Don't know what we're talking about next week. We're gonna figure that out. But I definitely want it to be a VRChat based episode again. I want to stick with that for a while. If you like smelly candles and things, and want to support with something and getting something really cool out of it, Quandle.store/turtle01, use code turtle, gets you a discount. Good stuff, really good smelly candles, and they're like anime themed. It's some funny stuff.
Not just candles, but they also have like incense and all sorts of
candles, incense, body sprays, a bunch of different things. I'm trying to talk them into getting beard oils because that'd be freaking amazing.
I will use a beard oil.
But yeah, other than that, let me do the thing. It's been a few weeks, so I have to remember what I'm doing here. So we will let the people shill. We'll start with you, Circuitry. Shill yourself.
Oh, first episode in 2 weeks, and I get the first one. Wow. You can find me at Kick and Rumble. Same places, SYRKATRII on both websites. I do have content on Twitch and YouTube. I don't stream on either of them anymore. I do upload to YouTube occasionally. If you do see me there, you can leave a comment. That's perfectly fine. All my links, though, to those Kick and Rumble links will be on my X account. So you can go over to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, SYRKATRII, and follow me on Kick, follow me on Rumble. I'll be streaming again on Monday, January 12th. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you all so much.
Okay. And Prismic, how can people find more things by you?
Main place I do most of my updates, honestly, is just through the VRChat group. You can find it if you go to any of my worlds and find the supporter board, or in the avatar search, it's on like the main little panel there. You can join the group. That's where I post basically all my change logs, all my updates, things I'm working on. Otherwise, I do occasionally still post things out to Twitter or X or whatever it is these days, and as well as Blue Sky. I'm Prismic247 on all those different things. Other than that, also chill out for VRChat official wiki. Go check it out. Go contribute. I'm one of the maintainers on that. It's a really awesome project that VRChat supports to help just compile all the different knowledge of things in VRChat, and we love getting more contributors to that.
Okay, thank you. Sobi.
Hello. Only Nubs is down.
No. Fucking hell. I almost lost my train of thought. Y'all can find me on twitch.tv/SaltTheFox. I am most likely not going to be streaming tonight because I'm waiting for someone to get home and I'm going to be spending time with them. Next week, we're going to figure more shit out, and I will see y'all then.
Okay.
Also, Vampy isn't here, so fuck a chicha, never forget.
And also,
Thank you so much.
for anyone that is watching
usually my
this
bit.
over on YouTube, oh yeah, also we're here every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Forgot about that part. See, I'm way out of whack for not being here for 2 weeks. Twitch.tv/TurtleDude01 every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Every episode's over on YouTube under the same name, TurtleDude01. If you're watching over on YouTube, leave a comment about any experience you've had in Cube or the movie or literally anything relating to that. Anyway, we will see you guys next week. Once
Also,
again, thank you for
subscribe
being
and
here,
leave a
Prismic.
comment. What's your
Thank you.
Ring
What's
that
your
bell.
favorite VRChat map?
Sure. But again,
And why
Prismic,
is it
thank you
cute?
so much for being here and let me
Pleasure's
pick
mine.
your brain.
Thank
It's so much fun. But
Absolutely
Goodbye.
fantastic. Really? You're gonna... You know what? It's fine. I'm not gonna say shit. It's